Courtroom fell silent as the judge's voice thundered through the hall, furious, disappointed, and visibly shaken. Matt Roloff and his longtime partner, Caryn Chandler, are now staring down the barrel of felony-level accusations that could change everything. What started as whispers about a mysterious document has spiraled into a full-blown legal scandal, one that threatens to dismantle decades of family legacy and bring TLC's Little People, Big World to its knees. For years, fans watched Matt build an empire from the ground up, from pumpkin patches to family milestones, all captured for millions to see. But now that same empire is under fire. The word forgery has entered the conversation, and it's not going away. As reporters flood the courthouse steps and online forums explode with speculation, the Roloff name, once a symbol of perseverance and family values, is now shadowed by allegations of deceit and fraud. And then came the moment that shocked everyone: the judge's fury. Sources inside the courtroom say the outburst wasn't just about legal technicalities. It was personal, it was emotional, it was a reckoning. So, what happened behind those closed doors? What evidence was revealed that left the judge fuming? And most importantly, how did one of reality TV's most beloved couples end up at the center of a possible felony case? This isn't just about property lines or paperwork. This is about power, trust, and betrayal within one of America's most famous TV families. And as the story unfolds, you'll see why this case could mark the most dramatic chapter in Little People, Big World history. Grab your coffee, settle in, and brace yourself, because what's about to unfold will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the Roloffs. Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. For Roloff family latest news update, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. It all began when documents tied to the ownership of Roloff Farms were brought into question. Sources claim that signatures on key property transfer forms didn't match official records, and that's when suspicions of forgery arose. What looked like a simple administrative error quickly turned into a criminal investigation. Whispers began to spread among the locals in Hillsboro, Oregon, suggesting that someone had tampered with paperwork to manipulate ownership rights or financial control over parts of the Roloff property. When attorneys representing the farm's estate began reviewing older contracts, they reportedly found multiple inconsistencies, not only in signatures but also in dates, witnesses, and notarization stamps. That was enough to get investigators involved. According to early reports, county officials began quietly looking into possible violations involving property transfer fraud, a felony-level offense if proven true. Suddenly, the once idyllic image of Roloff Farms, a beloved family destination featured for nearly 2 decades on Little People, Big World, was clouded by a growing legal storm. As details emerged, fans were left stunned. Could the same couple who spent years building a new life together, Matt Roloff and Caryn Chandler, really be connected to something this serious? Supporters quickly came to Matt's defense, arguing that he's always been meticulous with business and paperwork. But others weren't so sure. Over the years, tension surrounding the sale and inheritance of Roloff Farms has repeatedly surfaced. From Zach and Tori's refusal to buy part of the farm to Amy's emotional sale of her share, the property has long been at the center of family drama and heartbreak. Now, it appeared those internal battles might have spilled into the legal arena. According to insiders close to the situation, the questionable signatures appeared on 2 critical documents, one involving the restructuring of ownership, and another related to land development permits. These are not small matters. If proven that someone deliberately forged or altered these records, it could constitute criminal fraud, punishable by years in prison and substantial fines. That's where the story takes a darker turn. Reports suggest that a handwriting expert was brought in to analyze Matt's and Caryn's signatures against older samples from tax filings and TLC contracts. The findings, according to leaks, were inconclusive but concerning. It wasn't enough for a conviction, but more than enough to fuel suspicion and anger. Fans online didn't hold back. On Reddit and Facebook, LPBW followers launched intense debates, some claiming that Caryn, who once worked as a farm manager, might have had access to sensitive documents and was now unfairly targeted because of her role. Others pointed to her history with Matt, suggesting that their relationship blurred professional boundaries. If this is true, then everything we saw on TV was a lie. All the smiles, the engagement, the farm dreams, just smoke and mirrors. Matt been running that farm for decades. He knows his business. There's no way he'd risk everything for a signature. But the truth, at least for now, remains uncertain. As the investigation expanded, reports claim the district attorney's office in Oregon became involved after irregularities were confirmed in the property registrar's office. Sources inside the courthouse even described the judge's visible frustration when the case file first landed in court, citing it as an example of careless greed and betrayal within a family empire. The media quickly caught on. Local outlets and LPBW-focused blogs began publishing stories with headlines like "Forgery Scandal at Roloff Farms" and "Matt and Caryn's Future in Jeopardy." Suddenly, what began as a private dispute over paperwork had escalated into a full-blown public scandal. And worse, TLC itself reportedly started reviewing the situation internally, uncertain how to handle the legal implications for one of its most beloved franchises. By this point, fans began asking bigger questions. Was this the real reason why Little People, Big World production had slowed down in recent months? Had TLC already known something was brewing behind the scenes? And most importantly, what did the rest of the Roloff family know? Amy Roloff, Zach, and Tori have remained silent publicly, but sharp-eyed fans noticed something: a sudden stop in family interactions online. No comments, no likes, no mentions of Matt or Caryn. It was as if the entire family drew a line in the sand the moment the scandal broke. Meanwhile, Caryn was reportedly devastated by the accusations. Sources close to her say she's been in tears, feeling betrayed and targeted, insisting that all documents were handled legally and professionally. Matt, on the other hand, has stayed largely tight-lipped, which fans find uncharacteristic. Normally outspoken on social media, he hasn't directly addressed the forgery claims, a silence that some interpret as caution and others as guilt. Still, those who know Matt personally say he's been under enormous pressure, juggling farm operations, wedding planning with Caryn, and the ongoing tension with his kids. To have his life's work questioned now, after decades of sweat and sacrifice, would be nothing short of devastating. And so the stage is set. The investigation is active, the Roloffs are divided, TLC is watching closely. But as whispers of felony charges grow louder, one thing has become painfully clear: this isn't just about a few missing signatures anymore. It's about trust, legacy, and whether the foundation of the Roloff empire has been built on truth or deception. Every whisper, every shuffle of paper seemed to echo louder than the last. Observers recalled how Matt sat stone-faced, his hands clasped tightly together, while Caryn appeared anxious, glancing between her attorney and the prosecution. The courtroom atmosphere was thick with anticipation as the prosecution laid out a timeline of events, connecting signatures, emails, and phone records that allegedly tied back to the disputed documents. At one point, the judge reportedly leaned forward, his tone sharp and unwavering, demanding to know how multiple versions of the same property document could exist, each bearing signatures that didn't match official records. "Are you telling me," he asked pointedly, "that no one in this process noticed these discrepancies until now?" The question hung in the air, unanswered, as murmurs spread across the courtroom. Spectators say the judge's fury only grew as forensic specialists testified about inconsistencies in ink flow and pressure, subtle yet significant signs that suggested more than simple clerical error. The prosecution emphasized that the supposed mistakes conveniently benefited one party, raising suspicions about motive. Legal experts in attendance later remarked that the judge's reaction made it clear he wasn't buying the defense's narrative so easily. Meanwhile, Matt's defense attorney fought to maintain composure, arguing that the Roloffs had no reason to falsify any documents, insisting their clients had always operated transparently. Caryn, visibly emotional, reportedly wiped away tears as the prosecution displayed enlarged copies of the questioned signatures for the courtroom to see. Gasps rippled through the audience as the visual differences became undeniable: thicker strokes, altered letter shapes, and alignment issues that seemed to confirm the specialists' findings. By the time the cross-examination began, the courtroom was on edge. Reporters scribbled notes furiously as the judge reprimanded both sides for interruptions, warning that grandstanding would not be tolerated. It was a rare glimpse of genuine frustration from the bench, a moment that underscored just how serious the allegations had become. Even as proceedings continued, those present couldn't shake the feeling that the Roloff family's legacy was being publicly dismantled. The judge's intense questioning, coupled with the visible strain on Matt and Caryn, turned what might have been a procedural hearing into a spectacle of accountability, emotion, and disbelief.